Craig, you talked a little bit.
Go ahead.
You talked a little bit pregame just about the heat and knowing you kind of had to navigate pitching staff. Can you just describe the elements out there and what it was like to play in a day like today?
Yeah, I mean, it's, we talk a lot about Wrigley Field and how, the weather affects baseball here more than any other place. We got the massive extreme to the other side today, and not only the wind, we got the heat today, which other places experience the heat. But yeah, I mean, it was really, really hot. It was really sunny, really windy, and it made it feel like kind of a different game almost. Like the game was baseball, but it was different. And we fought, we battled, and we did enough to get a win.
Guys like Kelly and Raleigh catching 9 innings, I mean, how closely do you have to monitor them every inning, making sure they're ready to go out?
Yeah, I mean, it was, well, we saw, I mean, the heat clearly took its toll. I mean, they had a home plate umpire. I mean, they had a kid that kind of gave it everything he had until he essentially passed out. And props to him. That was, I'm sure he wasn't feeling good, and he just got to give that kid a lot of credit. So it was, you're trying to kind of take, what have our guys done? I thought about it with all the pitchers. How many pitches can they throw? How much can they be exposed out there? Carson was in good shape all day, fortunately, and did a nice job. I mean, it zaps your concentration as well. So it was very, very difficult conditions.
It seemed like the Keller, going through that middle of the order there when you brought him, seemed like the ultimate save of the ball game right there. How did you look at it?
Well, yeah, I mean, the MVP of the game, in my eyes, he did a heck of a job. Great inning. It was early to go to him for sure. But with the kind of the spot those guys they had coming up, you're kind of going for it, and really the hope is he just limits it to maybe 1 or 2, and we add more runs, kind of affects who they have pitching, and maybe we were able to score a little more. They did a good job pitching, that we didn't extend it, but he did he punched out the side. That was pretty awesome. And then he went and got out 2 more outs. So he did a heck of a job today.
I felt like Horton's line doesn't describe just as.
I don't think anybody's pitching line is relevant today. I mean, really. Some guys pitch good, and I don't want to take it away from them, but the guys that didn't pitch well, it's a day where you're like, it's a day where you just try to beat the other starting pitcher. Like, that's the win. Just beat the other starting pitcher. That's who you're competing against almost. I've heard that referenced in Coors Field a little bit. You just beat the other starting pitcher. That's your job. Cade did that, and it was just a tough day. They didn't hit the home run. They found the hole a lot, with a lot of base hits, and had a lot of traffic going on. But Cade did a nice job. I mean, you go out there and pitch today, you're putting it on the line.
Would you imagine this morning that your pitchers could get through this game with just 1 home run allowed, and it was a front row bleachers in the 9th inning?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You don't know what's going to happen. As the ball goes in the air, you're in trouble. And it was weird. I mean, there was a bunch of pop-ups that were way out of play that came back into play eventually, which was bizarre to see. There was Pete's ball's way foul. It comes back fair. It was incredibly difficult to just catch a fly ball. Was this morning when guys were out there, it was all game. So just conditions we just don't play in. And you see what it does to the best players in the world, right?
With Cade, it felt like the conditions and what was happening, like it almost could have been worse for him. Did you see?
Yeah, I mean, well, the second inning, he did a fabulous job. We had kind of 2 balls not go our way, and got out and he limited the damage to 1 run. That was like a save right there. I mean, that could have been a big inning. It could have been a lot of pitches. That could have changed the game. And he did a really nice job staying focused, just making pitches. And that was a huge inning.
I know it was windblown with Cal Raleigh with his 30th home run all before the All-Star break as a catcher. It's incredibly impressive what he's doing.
Well, 30 home runs is impressive, and we're not even at the halfway point, so he's good.
You talked about practicing defense, and you said earlier that they were out there checking it out, but there's no way that a pro baseball player can prepare for that, is there?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you combine you can't prepare for the sun as well. The sun's it's in a different. At 11 o'clock, it's actually easier, and then at 1 o'clock, or 2 o'clock, the sun's worse. So I don't know how you prepare for that. If maybe you grew up in West Texas or something like that, right?
But the last 2 weeks, Ian Happ's power has shown up. I know today was hit the ball.
Yeah.
Just what's it been like to see him kind of find?
Yeah, I mean, I think we all, Ian's we knew this was coming. I mean, you're sitting there with 3 home runs 10 days ago. I think it was about 10 days ago. It's probably Washington. So that's about 10 days ago that he's sitting there with 3 home runs. And so, I don't want to say it's expected, but there was a home run streak coming for him, and I'm glad it's happened.
Cade, was this just another summer day in Oklahoma for you, or was it tough today?
Yeah, it was the first real hot day of the summer, and so just everybody's kind of adjusting to that. Then you factor in the wind, like just a day at Wrigley.
Isn't that what you grew up in?
Yeah, but it's a little shock to the system. It's hard to get prepared for that, so I felt like we did a good job today.
What do you do between innings to stay hydrated and ready to go back out?
Yeah, a lot of the right stuff, cold towels, kind of stay in the AC, and then once you get 2 outs, go back out and get acclimated again. But yeah, just really trying to have quick innings.
How much does a game like this, when you just sort of ignore what your pitching line says and just know you got to them where you got them, and you came out with the win, and everything else was just kind of.
Yeah, it was huge. Just being able to fight through some adversity, and make pitches when I needed to. Just battling conditions, battling. Yeah.
Kyle Hendricks used to be really good at turning windy days into no runs allowed, and he said the key was just to totally ignore the wind and just pitch the way you always do. Did you have kind of that mentality?
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. You can't control the wind, so why worry about it? That takes away from making a pitch, and at the end of the day, you got to control what you can, and that's throwing the pitch you need to and want to.
Did you guys? They have a very good lineup, but did you have a special plan, kind of for Raleigh, being as hot and dangerous as he is? Yeah,
I just wanted to attack him. Didn't want to shy away from him. That's the last thing you want to do today, is put guys on. And so just going right at him, and living with the result.
Pickoff came in at a good time too, because it looked like, the way the game was going early, a lot of pitches, and all of a sudden the pickoff and then the strikeout. Is that one of your weapons?
Yeah, that was huge. That was a really big moment. Just being able to get an extra out right there and then come back and get Raleigh. That was a big moment. Just being able to flip the momentum back to our side was huge.
What is the key to kind of working through the adversity you talked about, especially that second inning, a couple pop-ups stuff over you guys' way? How do you kind of lock in and move it in?
Yeah, just control what you can, and that's making a pitch. As soon as I let go of the ball, I have no more control over it, and so just having that in the back of my head, these guys are going to pick me up many more times than I will. And so just being able to move on and make the next pitch and attack.
Talk about you not being predictable at all anymore, no matter how good you are. It seems like you're using 3 pitches well, and it's working to your advantage at this point.
Yeah, I would really say 4. I throw the curveball a lot to lefties, throw the changeup a lot to lefties. I throw, fastball, slider, sinker to righties. So just mixing and just keeping, guys off balance is the big thing, and using, my misses to my advantage.
Can you talk about the evolution of those pitches? Because when did you start implementing them? Because it's probably not easy to do that at the big league level.
Yeah. I've been throwing the curveball all the way through the minor leagues, and then the changeup. I've always thrown it, but I think at Miami I just found a cue for it, and it's kind of clicked for me, and I became confident with it, and so just throwing it. The more I throw it, the more confident I feel, and so just the more reps, the better.
Craig called you the game MVP. Just take us through when you go out and get that 1, 2, 3 in a big moment.
Yeah, that was really cool. Big moment. Tries to preserve Palm's ERA there, which he's been doing amazing. So, just kind of came in the situation. I knew, obviously, got on third base, tight game. The conditions of the game with the wind blowing out and everything, just try to go after guys, and knew how to get the first guy out, and double play in order, but worked out to get 3 strikeouts, so it was big.
Really worked hard on Raleigh. You guys talked much about it beforehand, hottest hitter in baseball. Right?
Yeah, just be smart right there. I think fell behind him 2-0 or something like that, and took the fastball and tried to get him chasing on a changeup, which he was kind of biting at, but he didn't. Just try to go after him as much as I could, fell behind, and obviously didn't want to let up any big hit there, but just try to stay on the attack, and it worked out.
You hit 99. Is that you, the Heat, both?
A little bit of both, I think. Big moment. It was cool. I felt good. That was cool.
What's it like being a really important pitcher again on a good team? It had been a while for you.
Yeah, it's fun. Obviously, winning's a lot of fun, and something that we want to continue to do the rest of the season. We've done a lot so far, so it's awesome. I think speaking for the bullpen, just want to go in there and preserve the lead that the guys give us, and it's something that I haven't really experienced a lot in my career, so it's a lot of fun to be a part of.
I think Craig mentioned earlier this year, one of your appearances where you came on with runners on, it was like the first time you ever entered a game with runners on. What's it been like to just navigate this series of firsts as a reliever and then sustain this deep in the season?
It's fun. New challenges, new adventures, new experiences. I feel like every time I go out there, I just try to learn more and more. Between each outing, try to learn more and more about how the whole role works and everything like that. So it's been awesome. I've enjoyed it a lot. Again, another moment. I think this is the 3rd time I've come in with runners on today. So I feel like I learned from the last 2 outings and was able to put up good results today.
Do they have a 5 or 10,000 watt air conditioner down there?
I wish it was. I don't think there was enough watt AC to get through today, but it was tough to see even inside the bullpen down there.
What was it like battling those conditions, then coming out and pitching the mound in the middle of a high stress moment? Like, what was it like? Was that a shock to your system a little bit even?
It's one of those things where it's not just me going through it; everyone's going through it. So try not to pay any mind to it. Just try to cool off in between innings and as much as you can, and go out there and do your thing. But pitching Kansas City for a while was pretty hot there, and I'm from Georgia, so it's pretty hot. So not saying that you ever get used to it, but I felt hot before. So it's just one of those things. Like, everyone's out there doing it. You just gotta not pay any mind to it.
When the door opened from the pen, was it like this?
It was a heat. Yeah, it was a heat blast for sure. That's what I was telling Palm. It's like running in, got to the mound. It's like I don't even want to throw all the warm up pitches because I want to conserve as much energy as I can, But it was hot out there for sure.
What's been your biggest evolution this season with everything that you've accomplished? Like, has there been a moment where something clicked, or because you make it sound so simple, but I feel like this, like you're saying, you're learning every step of the way. Has there been one?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just a collection of everything. It's just, starting back in spring training, learning some new pitches, kind of learning the bullpen role, kind of understanding, the importance of strike one and that, and staying ahead of guys, especially when it comes to late inning situations. So I think it's just a combination of everything, and just, like I said, just trying to continue to learn stuff every time I go out.
And just, I'm not sure how much you pay attention to the Cubs' all-time leaderboard, but moving past Chris into 15th on the home run list, what does that mean to you? Is that something you were kind of aware of after today's performance?
At least told me.
Okay.
Yeah, really cool. I mean, just being here and being available and being out there on the field. Anytime you're on a list with those guys, names of all-time Cubs greats, it's really cool.
The home runs we've seen through your career are going to come. Just when you get into that rhythm, they happen in bunches. But even as a veteran, does it make you wonder? Do you get upset before it happens?
Yeah, I mean, when you're sitting there, in the middle of May with 3 homers, definitely frustrated. Just want to do more and want to help more. But I think done this long enough that I have confidence that it's going to show up at some point. Just keep making the right swings, and so I'm saying the last couple of weeks that's happened.
How fun was it to see Tuck follow you and kind of just the way the nature of today and how this game is going to go?
Yeah, just a cool way to start the game, I think. Us jumping out to a lead, you knew you were going to have to score some runs to win that game today. It's just nature of the elements. And so, jumping out to that lead, and then the rest of the guys jumping on. Bushy, great at bat. Pete, just everybody kind of piling on to make just really good at bats one after another.
After 2 o'clock here, today's first day of summer, you got sun, wind. No way to practice all that, right?
Yeah, I think we've played so many games with the wind blowing in, and those environments, and not with the wind blowing out, and so you're not going to get out there. You're not going to take a bunch of batting practice and get those reads in the outfield on a day like today. So we made the adjustment after the first couple innings, but just getting our footing there, and a couple of tough ones that fall. But I told Tommy after the first couple, hey, we're going to catch them to stick with us, and so just being able to. Defense turned around there and had a great rest of the game. Play by Dancy, play by Bushy, those little things. We continue to play really good defense as a team.
What can you say about Cade working through, when it could really escalate or, snowball in a young pitcher?
Yeah, he did a great job. I think, it's really easy to get frustrated in that situation when you're making the pitches and not getting the results. Obviously, from a defensive standpoint, we wish we could have made those plays for him, keeping him in the game a little bit longer. But he did a great job of just making his pitches, staying focused. The play by Bruham was a big one in that game, getting out of the inning with just 1 run. But he did a great job of working, and he's been a pro through and through since he got here.
Having Brad Keller come in and
yeah, Brad. I mean, that's a big spot there, and then to go back out for the next inning too, just what he's meant to us and his ability to come in different situations, shut down the game has been awesome.
You've experienced these conditions before. Is there any advice you can give Pete?
Yeah. I mean, it's one that you're trying to get behind the ball as much as you can, but everything in your brain is telling you from all of the fly balls that you've had in the past, where that ball is going to land. And so to recalibrate can be challenging. You're trying to follow that thing. The sun was in a bad spot for him there in the first couple innings, and so those balls were right in the middle of it. So wind and sun, that factor. Even I played in it a lot, and that first ball I should have made that play, and my brain was telling me that it wasn't going to get there, and you got to do a little bit of recalibration on a day like today, and we'll be better for it next time.
Is this a ballpark like Great America? I mean, it seems like there's different ride challenges everywhere you go.
Yeah, that's the truth. We play in so many different conditions, from freezing cold and the wind blowing in to a day like today where it's scorching and the wind's blowing out. And so we just got to embrace it. We got to embrace the challenges of playing in different conditions, and good one for the hitters today, and hopefully again tomorrow.